Ho ho ho! What's up, everybody? It's Adam here. I can't see the guy. Okay, we're back on the movie vault around Christmas time to review Christmas movies. Basically, I've reviewed the Home Alone franchise. I've done the Grinch. The How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And I also did Jingle All the Way, which starred Arnold Schwarzenegger. So where do we go next? I decided to pick out the next movie that comes to mind of a movie that I like to watch around Christmas. And everyone knows I mainly review horror movies, but yeah, I like to review comedies and other different types of movies. Oh yeah, before I mention anything, if this quality of this camera is not perfect, I apologise. The webcam which I usually use is broke, so now I'm using this second webcam which I own, which is not as good. So if the quality's a bit out of bound or the audio, then I apologise. But I am getting a new webcam, so I have to make use of this one till now till I get it. But what was I saying? Yeah, mainly comedy movies which I review, and mainly horror. But I like to review comedies and action and different genre types of movies. But this is a horror. It's a slasher movie. Silent Night, Deadly Night. I've got it on Blu-ray, and this is the 30th anniversary edition. It's also the original unrated version. Okay. Now, this movie, it's a movie that got really shat on and caused massive controversy. And I've looked into this as to why this movie got massive controversy. And it's fucking ridiculous. People really complained about this movie, giving Santa Claus a bad impression. Okay, I admit they may have advertised it wrong with TV spots because you can't always control commercials, you know what I mean? You don't know what's going to come next. And obviously, kids were aware while I was watching TV about this movie because I was seeing the TV spots. Look, Mum and Dad, it's a Santa Claus killing people. He's holding an axe, he's killing people. So I can understand it about being advertised wrong. They should have done it with just newspaper articles or other types of advertisement other than the television, but that's where it all went wrong. So basically, kids were getting freaked out by Santa Claus. They thought that Santa Claus had a bad name, an evil character. And of course, we all know what Santa Claus is when we're kids. We look at him like a hero, giving us presents if we're being good kids and all that kind of stuff. So it was advertised all wrong, and I think that's where the problem was. But at the end of the day, it's a slasher movie, a Christmas slasher movie, and all the shit that it got. I mean, people even said this movie was a disgrace of a movie. You're wrong. It's a decent film. Okay? Especially from the year it came out, because the ages this movie came out, in fact, it officially came out of... was it 1984 this movie came out? Yeah, 1984, November 9th of 1984. And I think it's a fine flick, but like I say, not only did it get controversy, but people just picked any excuse they could find, in my opinion, just to shit on this movie. They tried to get it banned and fucking ridiculous. If there's any movies that should be fucking banned, it's the fucking sequels, because there are fucking 5 of these movies in total. 5 of them. And I've got this one on Blu-ray. The second one is fucking worthless. Just fucking reused video, totally worthless fucking movie. And I used to own part 5. I watched that, thought it was shit, got rid of it. And as for part 3 and 4, I can only know bits and pieces of them. But I'd have to watch them over again if I have to do a review or rant on them. But hopefully it won't have to come to that. The only movie that's worth reviewing, in my opinion, is the first movie. Only decent one that shouldn't have made any more sequels. Okay, this is the one to like. This is the decent one. Now, what I liked about this movie was the character development. Because the lead kid in this, Billy, basically the whole movie is about him going on a murdering rampage dressed as Santa Claus. But there's more to the story to that. We find out why did he go on a rampage? Why does he dislike Christmas? Why does he get this fear of God stroke into him when he sees Santa Claus? And right off the bat, when the movie starts, we get to know the reason why. Because the start of the movie, Billy's with his parents and his younger brother Ricky. They're going to this mental hospital where the granddad's staying. And while Billy's alone with his granddad, he actually looks at him and tells him the story about how Santa Claus punishes the naughty kids on Christmas. And I loved his acting. It's a shame he never had more to do with the film, more roles wise. But I liked how he told the story where he looked at Billy seriously and says, he punishes the naughty ones. You know, he punishes the naughty ones, and I like the way he was telling the story. I like the way how he tries to put the fear of God into Billy, into thinking if he's been good or bad all year. Because now Billy's concerned that Santa Claus is going to come after him because he feels he's not been a good boy all year. So when they leave the mental hospital, there's this guy dressed in a Santa suit and he robs the shop, shoots the shopkeeper, steals the money, and he manages to pull the car over, which Billy is in. And we get a horrific scene where the parents get murdered. He tries to rape Billy's mother. Billy gets away by hiding in the ditch. But he does kill the father, he does kill the mother, he attempts to rape her, but he gets away. And that's your little taste at the start of the movie as to why he's scared to death of Santa Claus. Not because of the story that his grandfather told, but he actually witnessed a Santa Claus murdering and raping his mother, basically, and killing his father and all that. So Billy, traumatised by these events, is now placed in an orphanage. And the orphanage is run by all these nuns, including Mother Superior. Now, the actress who played Mother Superior, she played a good role in this. Basically, she was like this controlled nun who believes that everyone should be punished for being naughty. You know what I mean? So, in her eyes, if she saw anybody doing anything naughty, through her eyes, she punishes them. Now, this actress is familiar. And when I looked her up, I realised that she was in Predator 2. Yeah, the Mother Superior actress was in Predator 2. I mean, she's no longer with us now in real life. She's now passed away, which is a damn shame. But she plays this bitch of a nun in this movie who punishes all the kids, if they do the slightest thing wrong, or if she sees them doing anything naughty, she punishes them, basically. Being fully aware of what Billy's been through, his traumatic experiences and all that, he gets punished. I mean, there's another nun, a younger nun. She understands what all the kids have been through. She understands what Billy's been through, yet she feels concerns for some of the children, including Billy, and there are some scenes where Mother Superior is punishing people, like the scene where they're making love in the orphanage, this couple. There's a scene where Billy gets tied to the bed for being naughty, and I'm thinking, you bitch, this kid's been through hell. And to make things even worse, they get a Santa Claus to visit the orphanage. And Mother Superior knows about the whole Santa Claus situation with Billy. Yet she forces him to sit on the Santa Claus's lap, which results in him punching the fucking Santa Claus. But can you blame him? After all the traumatic events he had, can you blame him for punching the fucking Santa Claus? So that's one thing that made me why? She's aware of all this. And the next scene made me chuckle. I laugh a lot. I mean, not because it was comedy or because it was funny. It was why? Because the film skips 2 years later now where Billy's grown up. He's now working in a toy shop around Christmas. And they get him to dress up as Santa Claus, to ask all these kids what they want for Christmas when they visit the store. And I'm thinking, wasn't the shop manager aware of his background story? Aren't any of these obvious people stupid, Are they fucking aware of Billy's situation of when he was a child? Yet you make him dress up as somebody who killed his parents. And they gave him this job as Santa Claus, I don't know. I mean, Billy snaps. He looks at himself in the mirror dressed as Santa. And now, in his mental mind, he feels like it's his job now, as the Santa Claus, to punish naughty people, but leave the good people alone. So, in his mind now, he's like the Mother Superior. If he sees anyone being naughty, he punishes them. I mean, we get a scene in the toy store where there was going to be an attempted rape. Billy kills him with some Christmas lights. But then she gets killed with a fucking box cutter. Bloody gory scene. We see a scene where somebody gets shot with a bow and arrow. We see a decapitation scene where these asshole kids steal this guy's sledge And when he comes down the hill, Billy, dressed as Santa Claus, decapitates him with a fucking axe. We get a cop killed with an axe, and another scene, which I think everybody remembers, was the girl being literally naked, being lifted up and actually impaled on these deer antlers, which are on this wall, so they go fucking through her. So this movie has its gore, it has its good little horror slasher scenes, and in my opinion, they did a good job of it. Yeah, they did a good job of it. You know, I can't understand why people shit on this movie so much. It seems like they picked any excuse they could fucking find to put this movie down. Like the scene where Billy was a kid and he was tied onto the bed, you know, in the orphanage. They're saying they shouldn't be doing that. You know, it's all about telling a story for a slasher film. It's all about character development. Why the fuck are they so pissed off at these scenes? Why are they taking it so seriously? It's an R-rated movie for adults. You know, it's going to be a Christmas slasher movie. What is with all the fucking bullshit that's going on? You know what I mean? It's not for kids to watch. Yeah, just because I did the advertising wrong, or the fact it's somebody in a Santa Claus suit. You know, they think it should be banned for that reason. Okay? Would you ban a horror film with Barney the dinosaur? Someone dressed up as Barney the dinosaur fucking killing people? Would you? You know, it says, you know, it's rated 18, it's an R-rated movie. Why are you pissing and shitting about so much? You know, some people are just stupid. They get so fucking butthurt by R-rated movies where the content isn't for them, their personal taste, or the fact that minors are going to watch it. You know, minors aren't meant to watch it, but there you have it. But I, for one, like this movie. Again, the scenes about him, why did they make him dress as Santa Claus in the store, and the fact that Mother Superior, was she so blind to see that this kid's going to act as Santa Claus wrongly because his parents were murdered by a Santa Claus? Apart from little scenes like that, I thought this movie was fine. You know, it was a good slasher horror movie about a killer Santa Claus. You know, I love the character development, the build-up. I even how they keep the rules, because there's a scene where Billy is in this house, and this little girl approaches him, who thinks, you know, he's the real Santa Claus, and he asks her, "Have you been a good girl this year?" And she says, "Yeah." "Are you sure?" You know, and he hands her a bloody box cutter, you know, as a present, and she looks at it like, okay, you know. So they keep the rules. Just because she says she was good and that she's been a good girl all year, he doesn't harm her. And I think that was a nice touch. I mean, they did a good job of not, you know, of allowing the girl to live, you know. Just to randomly kill the little girl off wouldn't have made any sense. So it just shows the character development of Billy's mental state of mind, you know, when he's killing off all these characters. He's only punishing, in his opinion, the naughty ones, basically. You know. And again, I was satisfied with the ending, because in the ending it happens back at the orphanage again, because Billy goes back to find the Mother Superior. You know, Billy gets shot by the police. You know, unaware that Billy's younger brother, Ricky, who's now a little bit older, witnesses the killing, and he looks at the Mother Superior and goes, "Naughty." You know, and then the credits roll, and then unfortunately we get that abomination of a sequel, you know, with Ricky all grown up. And it was fucking horrendous, but that's another review for another day. So overall, great slasher movie. It did feel like an 80s movie, you know, with the music and the grainy atmospheres and the dark backgrounds and all that. Again, excellent character development. The grandpa at the start of the movie, I wish he played more of a bigger role, because I liked how he told the story at the start. So, acting wise, I was really impressed. The guy who played Billy, I thought did a good job of his role. He did a good job with his facial expressions, you know, his demented state of mind, you know. So in this movie you get a mixture of everything that you'd see in a slasher film, like nudity, gore, kill scenes. You get all of those. But again, the bullshit this movie got was so fucking unreal. In terms of special features on this Blu-ray edition, like I've already mentioned, it's 30th anniversary edition. We get some commentary with the writer, Michael Hickey, and the composer, Barry Botkin. There's an audio interview with the director, Charles E. Sellier Jr. And we also get a poster and some still galleries and another extra, Santa Stocking of Outrage. So, There's not millions of things to watch in the special features, but one or two, interesting background things, to know about the movie when it was being made. So, like I said, this is an 85-minute movie, and it timed it just well. It didn't drag, it didn't get boring. At least for not my opinion, but to say the truth, I must say it is one of the better slasher horror movies towards Christmas. I mean, I've seen Christmas Evil, I've seen other Christmas horror movies, and not one of them really hold a candle to this one. Like I said, this is the only decent one in the franchise. The others aren't worth watching. So, again, if you can recommend any good Christmas horror movies to me, please leave them in the comments below, or in the comment section. Just leave me anything, your thoughts to this review, or you got any other thing you want to talk about. Just feel free and leave it in the comments section. Any questions, tips, or advice, just feel free to leave them below. That's my review for Silent Night, Deadly Night. Highly recommended for a good horror slasher experience towards Christmas. Alright, thanks everybody. Peace out and Merry Christmas. Peace.